know about you is that you have ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What's good, Finn Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. I wanted to be live about an hour and a half ago, so I apologize to all of you for having a late episode. I really do, because I know some of you got to work in the morning or whatever. So here's the deal: 4-round mock draft. No simulator. Okay. We're going to go over every pick I made based off team needs, my player rankings, and such. So I wanted to give you guys at least 2 of our picks. So I got that. We're going to go over that first and foremost. A lot of work went into that one. Now it doesn't look as sharp as it did last year, and that's just because of a miscommunication between me and my graphic guy. But it is what it is. We're rolling. And then I got 2 lists for you. I got 20 players at 102 and 20 players at 125 that could be realistic options for the Miami Dolphins. I've also indicated on each list which ones have actually visited with the Miami Dolphins leading up to this point. So we're going to go over that. Obviously, I want to go over to the Tunsil announcement today that he's turning one of the most famous moments in Miami draft history into an NFT. So we'll look over that. And then I do want to go over now. Usually I live react to the videos. I do want to go over Jalen Phillips, and I do want to go over Jalen Waddle's pressers, media availabilities today. Now I got 2 articles because if we go over that, we're going to be an hour and a half, 2 hours. Y'all will be up with me till freaking like 12:31 a.m. So I'm going to go over the articles instead because a lot of the key stuff, is in the articles. So we'll go over that. I also have the transcripts up, so we're good. Yeah, we got a ton to go over. A lot of draft content. Now, the one thing I will say, let's open this up. I will be live tomorrow night. Okay, it'll be me rolling solo dolo because we have no picks in the first round. Then on night 2, Ball Game will be joining me. I believe Richmond Webb looks like he's going to be trying to make his schedule work so he can join me. I forgot to hit him back because I'm so busy today, but I'm gonna hopefully the homie Martin's gonna join us as well. So I'm gonna put together like a little panel for you guys. Not as vast as what we had last year, but it'll be for night 2 and then day 3. I'm gonna got people up here too. So I'll be live at 7:30 tomorrow night. So we'll be live for round 1, even if we're not going to make a pick. We'll be live for it. Already know what time it is. Draft season, baby. And you never know, right? So I don't think we're going to trade back up into the first round, but hey, you never know. So thank you, Robert. I'm still like, bro, the work that's gone into the last 3 days to get that tackle big board finalized now because I was supposed to finish it. I got hit with COVID. Now trying to pump this mock draft out. It's been crazy, man, because I lost like 2 or 3 days due to COVID. So, I wouldn't be as rushed right now as I feel like I am. So, but I do want to address one thing because people have asked me about this. I don't know what the deal is or where this is coming from. This whole narrative that is trying to be pushed right now that that Mike Gesicki is going to be traded. I don't know who's who started this or who's throwing the flame on the fire. I've been so busy with draft, COVID, my family. So I don't know who started this. I have had people DM me, text me about it. This Mike Gesicki is not being traded. Okay. Let me put this in clear as day right now. Mike Gesicki is not being traded. this coaching staff, they want to see what they have with, you know, with a year under their belt with Mike Gesicki. Okay? There's a reason why he looked like he's bulked up. You know what I mean? There's a reason why I've told y'all before, go look at John Emery's past history. Mike Gesicki is Jordan Cameron. Like, that's exactly what it is. So, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a couple, you got Charlie Kohler, you got Isaiah Likely. There's a couple decent tight ends in this draft. So, this whole Mike Gesicki is on the block and being traded, like, that is, I don't know who started this or whatever, but it's not going down like that. Mike Gesicki is not being traded this offseason. They're not going to take away from this offense. They're adding to this offense right now. And they have him on a $10.9 million. They consider that internally as a steal right now, right? This is a guy who they think on the open market could be making 14 to 15 million a year right now. So they're not going to move off Mike Gesicki. And like I told y'all, everyone knows how I felt about Mike Gesicki, just like how I felt about Austin Jackson. But what I said about Austin Jackson and Mike Gesicki when Mike McDaniel got hired, right? Austin Jackson has the traits to fill out and be the starting. They probably see him as a potential starting right tackle in this scheme. Boom, here we are. It looks like that's going to pan out. Number 2, Mike Gesicki, as much as I lambast him for not being able to run crisp routes, as bad of a blocker as I point out he is, what did I say? It was too big of a weapon for Mike McDaniel to look at and throw away. That's just what it is. He's not going to take away from this offense right now. It's just not going to happen. So I want to let y'all know that real quickly. That is not that's not, I don't know where this is coming from, but I've had like 4 or 5 people hit me up about this stuff. And like in the last like 24 hours. So no, Mike Gesicki is not being traded right now. Now, if they get an offer that blows them away, like if someone's willing to dangle a first, I mean, who wouldn't? But this is not real right now. That's not real talk. Okay? Gesicki is not being traded. All right? A decision will be made in the offseason about him. So, I don't know what to say. All right? They can up his value under Mike McDaniel. You could literally up his value, sign and trade him, or you could up his value. And I know there's gonna be a comp pick at play. So no, I'm gonna tell you right now, like even if they got Debo, they wouldn't trade Mike Gesicki, and I'll tell you why. Because everyone keeps pigeonholing Debo to this wide receiver. No. If he came in this offense, he would probably have between 5 to 8 targets, but he'd probably have 6 to 8 carries. So stop pigeonholing him as a receiver. It would be much, much different. Now, acquiring Debo would spell the end of Gesicki next offseason. But right now, this team believes they can win. This team believes they can make a push into the playoffs. They're not going to take away from that, especially when they're trying to build up the offense right now. They're not going to take away from it. Like, you would need to throw a first-round draft pick from this year on the table. And I don't think that's happening. So, I don't know what else to say. Right now, there's nothing to the Mike Gesicki trade stuff right now. Nothing whatsoever. So if you hear that, if you read it, dismiss it. That's nonsense. So I just wanted to lay that out for you. I just want to let you lay that out for you and let y'all know what the deal is, okay? Because I've had too many people, 4 or 5 people hitting me up about that is too many. Another thing I wanted to tell you is, it continues on the whole, I know they pulled back interest. Let me put it this way. They're way more interested in Melvin Ingram than they are with Reuben Foster. So I know if we don't take an edge in these 4 picks, it's a very realistic possibility they're going to just try and add Melvin Ingram as a depth piece. I have heard rumblings that they have an offer on the table for Melvin Ingram already, but that remains to be seen. But like I've said, they're not going to make any moves until this draft plays itself out. So nothing has changed from that standpoint. All right, and that goes to center, linebacker, edge depth, wherever you want to point out right now. They're going to let this draft play out, and then you'll see them. They'll be active. They are going to be very active. I wouldn't be surprised if we sign, 8 UDFAs. I really wouldn't be so shocked if we signed 7 or 8 UDFAs. And then they're going to go out and they're going to. And here's the other thing. This is why I always like when a team keeps around money. You never know who's going to be a casualty of training camp. You never know what quality player is going to become available. There's always a few. There's always a few that pop up and are available when teams got to start making cuts. So, plus we got to roll over money next year. We don't have a ton of cap next year. So, I mean, I like it. Don't be up against the cap. Put yourself in a position where you got money to play with. So, I'm a big fan of what we look at. You look at the contracts, you look at the cap situation, everything has been done with foresight in mind. Even though we know they have a 4-year window until that 50.1 million cap hit for Tyreek kicks in at 2026, even though we have a 4-year window, they're setting themselves up for each year that follows. Like, for example, they know they don't have a ton of cap next year. And they can make maybe 1 or 2, maybe one decent move and then a couple other filler moves. So what did they do? They stacked up on draft capital, right? If Tua works out, we're set with an influx of talent. It's just everything's been done with foresight. Everything's been done and they see, and every move seems well thought out. Chess, not checkers, which is why I keep scratching my head that they don't have a 3rd down back and they don't have someone in the red zone. That's what scares me the most. And the other thing too is, we also got to take into account the revenue streams that are about to come in next year. Right? Like if you were to go onto Spot Track, we are estimated to be over the cap by like 6 million next year. I don't know if you guys know this, but we are estimated to be over the cap by like 6.5 million, 6.6 million next year. So Byron will be gone. Like I posed this, when we were talking about Debo last week. When you really think about it, Christian Wilkins, do you want to pay him top 10 money at his position? And I'm not even just talking strictly Debo. Long term, I want to keep Christian because he's gotten better every year. But when it comes to the fact that I got to pay him top 10 money at his position and he's always going to be compared to a guy like Jeffrey Simmons because of the draft class, it makes me pause a little bit. I want Christian Wilkins, but I want Christian Wilkins at the right price. I'm not trying to break the bank for Christian Wilkins, my friends. I'm sorry. So now I know they're trying to work on an extension for Christian Wilkins before the May 2nd deadline, where you have to activate the option for the 5th year. So I know they're trying to get it done with Christian Wilkins. We'll see how that plays out. They're trying to get it done by May 2nd. Right? So we'll see how it plays out. I think that, they're going to try and get it done, but, we're not talking like 15, 16 million here. Oh, hey, no name. I'm not disagreeing with you that the cap is a fallacy, but it's a fallacy to an extent, right? Like when you start in the hole, you got to make cuts to get out of the hole. Then you can start spending money. And it's all about, we can restructure a bunch of guys. Like the one thing I will say, if you remember Tyreek never restructured for the Chiefs. He was never about restructuring. So, I think Byron will be gone next year. I think they'll move off Gesicki next year because I think he'll just price himself out and they'll take the comp pick. Unless he like blows it up this year and the staff falls in love with him and what they can do with him. So you're gonna get guys restructured. They'll probably approach, Ogba to restructure right away, right? Because that'll just be more money up front in his pocket out of his big contract. They'll probably restructure X to put more money in his pocket right away. They'll find some way to try and do it, even if it's only a couple million. They'll try and restructure and they'll move money around. We'll be fine. All right. Here's the thing. Let's well, you weren't wrong, No Name. I wouldn't call you a goof. You weren't actually wrong. It is just a number. You're not wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's very easy. You made a 110% good point. It's just at the end of the day, you'd rather be fucking 7 million over the cap than under it, right? So, but you're not wrong. It's just going to be restructuring and working money around. And there's guys in like Taron Armstead probably going to get restructured and put more money in his pocket right out the gate. You know what I mean? So it's just, that's what's going to happen probably. That's why they're setting themselves up. That's why Chris Taron Armstead took $15.5 million a year, because he's like, by the end of it, you guys are going to guarantee me all this stuff, and I won't be paying taxes because I'm in Miami. He knows what the deal is. All right, let's get into this. Guys, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. 250 of you in the room. Didn't expect a ton of you to come out tonight because it's like 11 o'clock on a Wednesday, which is why I wanted to start earlier. But again, things happen. Let's get into this mock right out the gate, man. Let's start this off. So, for me, this is how I see round 1 going. All right. This is what I see happening in round 1. So, even though I wouldn't, even though I think people should be fired for taking Travon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson, Evan Neal, Ike Mekwonu, Kyle Hamilton, Kevon Thibodeau, Sauce, Charles Cross, Derek Stingley. I'd take all these guys over Travon Walker. A guy who I don't know, man. You look at whether they moved him, and I get it. Oh, he didn't pin his ears back a lot, but whether you moved him inside or whether you moved him outside, he wasn't winning when he did rush. His pass rush win rate was one of the lowest in the class, whether you compared him when he was on the interior to the other interior guys, or whether you compared him to the other edge guys off the edge. And that's, pass rush win rate is how much you win on the pass rushes you're given. And this guy's hovering at like 10, 11%. Okay. So, and every time I watched Georgia, Travon Walker was like the 5th or 6th guy, well, even deeper. I'm watching Jordan Davis first. I'm watching Wyatt before him. I'm watching their linebackers before I watch Travon Walker. Like, Travon Walker, I don't get it. Hey, go ahead. Jags are going to jag, though. So there you go. Number 2, I think this is a match made in heaven. Aiden Hutchinson stays at home, stays in Detroit, goes to the Lions. Boom. And you'll see why they didn't go quarterback in the second round. Number 3, OT1, Evan Neal. The reason why I took him here is they can keep Tunsil at the left. They can kick Evan to that right side, and they're set. Evan Neal and Laremy Tunsil as your bookend tackles. So Texans are set there. Jets, Ike Mekwonu. Listen, the word is they want to move off Mekhi Becton. You put him. They got Laken Tomlinson at left guard. They got Elijah Vera Tucker at right guard. You add Ike McQuanu there. They're moving off Mekhi Becton, it seems. Boom. All right. First big trade, and first real only big trade for me, Malik Willis to the Steelers. So what I have is the Giants trading the number 5 overall pick for number 20. The Steelers' second round pick, which I believe is 52, and their first round pick next year. I put it up against the draft chart, and the value works. Okay, so I actually did a realistic trade. So that was a 20th overall, the 52nd overall, and a Steelers 2023 first to move up to number 5. And I know Mike Tomlin loves Malik Willis. Okay, he met every chance he's gotten, whether it's at the Combine or Pro Day, he's gone out to dinner with Malik Willis. You know, at the Combine, he was around Malik Willis's family and parents the whole Combine. He just loves him. Okay, so it just makes a lot of sense. So Malik Willis is who I got moving up because they're afraid the Panthers are going to take him. The Panthers instead go with Kenny Pickett. He is my quarterback 6. But it's rumored that the Panthers love Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett at this spot. So I'm going to go with what I'm hearing, and I'm going to take Kenny Pickett there. I'm going to go off my board what I'd do, and I'm going to take Kenny Pickett there. Number 7, you know, my boy Neil's favorite corner in this draft. You know, him and Derek Stingley are 1A, 1B. It doesn't matter where you go for me. But the Giants apparently love him. There's even word about them thinking about taking him at 5. So Sauce Gardner, absolute stud. Absolute stud. Can't say enough good things about the Sauce man. He is absolutely awesome. So, you know, you know what you're gonna see what I noticed when I did this? A lot of teams had strong drafts when I went off their needs to what I would pick. And so, you know, taking we're talking 6'2", 190 guy, you know, this is a Jim Thorpe finalist. Sauce is just the man. All right. I don't know what else to say. At number 8, Kayvon Thibodeau. You know, they need defensive help bad. I thought Micah Parsons should have been someone they looked at instead of Kyle Pitts last year, but given on how they've gone with their current you know, with their current weaponry, Kayvon Thibodeau just makes way too much sense there. And I know the Dallas Cowboys are trying to trade up, you know, because they want to look at him. Kayvon Thibodeau's my edge 1. All right. I'm going off Aiden Hutchinson and Travon Walker based off rumblings, but you're talking about my edge 1, that's Kayvon Thibodeau. Number 9, they start building the O-line for Drew Lock, or do they draft someone? You're going to be surprised. All right. So the Seahawks, they take Charles Cross, locked down left tackle. The Jets take Kyle Hamilton at 10, which is an absolute steal. Okay, top 5 player in this class, hands down. Absolute beast. Number 11, the Commanders continue to get better on defense. They add Derek Stingley. At number 12, a team that's rumored to really love Trent McDuffie takes him because they need corner help. That's Minnesota. The edges continue to run off the board. I got Houston taking Jermaine Johnson for some edge help at 13. There's rumblings Jermaine could go in the top 10 right now. I wouldn't even listen. I'd take George Karlaftis over Travon Walker. I like Jermaine Johnson. I just don't know if I could swallow taking him this high, but Houston needs help. At number 14, a pick that makes a lot of sense to me when you break it down, Jordan Davis to the Ravens. I mean, tell me that doesn't make sense. Tell me that doesn't make sense. All right. That just makes a ton of sense when I look at it. And obviously, behemoth of a man. Absolutely behemoth. 6'6", 341. Moves like he's like 290. You know, he's just an absolute behemoth. Obviously, he's got to get a little bit better at pass rush, but this guy eats gaps and makes space for linebackers. So At number 15, I hear the Eagles love him. Jameson Williams is officially the first wide receiver off the board. 2 out of the last 3 years, the first guy off the board has been a Bama guy. In 2020, it was Henry Ruggs. And this year, it is Jameson Williams. At number 16, the man to replace Taron Armstead as the tackles start running dry a little bit here. Trevor Penning, you all know how I feel about him. I think the bully stuff is a little, that's a rep he got for trying to be a bully after reps he got beat at on the Senior Bowl. So I don't buy that. Number 17, Kenyon Green, a guy they can move inside, a guy they can move at tackle. A lot of things they could do with him. I think if Penning would have fallen here, they could have tried to draft him and shift him to right. But Kenyon Green, a guy that can kick inside, a guy they could try. Hey, a lot of us thought Rashawn Slater had traits to move inside too. So let's see what they can do with a guy like Kenyon Green. They continue to beef up that O-line. At number 18, a guy I love, Kyrie Elam out of Florida. He's added, Darius Slay is their number one corner, and we're talking about a guy like, he's starting to get towards his mid-30s there. So they add someone there. And then number 19, George Karlaftis, some much needed defensive help and shoring that up for the Saints. The Giants continue to have a good draft as it keeps falling for me. They take Devin Lloyd at number 20. They've added Sauce Gardner and Devin Lloyd in my mock in the first 20 picks. Huge need for them. Phil, Devin Lloyd, linebacker 1. 21 a pick. I know not a lot of y'all are going to like, but when I looked at his profile and I looked at their needs, I'm like, man, if he's on the board, he makes a ton of sense. Drake London is in the AFC East under my mock draft as the Patriots take him at 21. Garrett Wilson goes 22 to the Packers. They finally take we keep mocking them to take year after year, mock them to take a wide receiver in the first round. They do it. Andrew Booth adds some much needed help in the back secondary of the Arizona Cardinals at 23. Zion Johnson replaces Connor Williams for the Dallas Cowboys at 24. At number 25, they haven't been able to hit and get what they wanted out of Zach Thomas or Devin Singletary. They don't have a lot of needs. Breece Hall is another huge, huge weapon to be added for the Bills. At number 26, the Titans take Nakobe Dean. You add him to the interior of that linebacking core, and oh my goodness, it's actually with Bud Dupree, with as an edge / outside linebacker, Harold Lander doing the same thing, and Nakobe Dean in the middle of that. Ooh. At number 27, Devontae Wyatt gives the Bucs some much needed depth behind Vita Vea. At number 28, the Packers go edge with Arnold Ebiketie. At number 29, the Chiefs, Chris Olave falls all the way to him, and they make him the 29th pick, and that's a wide receiver pick. They've lost Tyrann Mathieu. They've gone different way at safety by signing some big money, but they add Daxton Hill. At number 31, the Bengals make quietly one of the best picks in my first round. Okay, I'm not going to go pick by pick, by the way. I'm just doing this for round 1. I'm going to go highlights for every other round, all right? Tyler Linderbaum at 31 is one of the best picks. Then at 32, the Lions, they decide to add another wide receiver to a group that already has Amon-Ra St. Brown on the come up and a lot of talent already to it. And they're setting up for what they're going to do in the second round. And as we get to now, we're at 32. Let's get into round 2 of my mock draft, and we're going to go by highlight picks. At number 33, I got Tyler Smith helping that offensive line out. I know they signed Cam Robinson to some big money, but they can shift Tyler Smith to right tackle. Sam Howell is now he's a successor to Jared Goff at 34 to the Lions. Now, the Giants continue to have a strong draft. I have them adding Jahan Dotson, I got another safety coming over the board. The Texans continue Lewis Seen. Great. The Jets now add Trey McBride. They keep adding for Zach Wilson. The Bears add Sky Moore. The Seahawks, remember, I had them take Charles Cross. They take Matt Corral at 40, and then they come back at 41, and then they take Chad Muma. Whew. Alec Pierce to the Colts. Carson Strong is the next quarterback off the board. He goes to the Falcons. David Ojabo, you look at him at edge to the Ravens, and you're like, oh my God. At 46, it's supposed to be Jaquan Brisker, not Jawan. That is on my graphic guide, not me. The next quarterback comes off the board at 47, Desmond Ridder to the Washington Commanders. And then you keep looking at some other highlights. The Giants continue. Bernard Raymond, they add now. So they've added Bernard Raymond, Jahan Dotson, Devin Lloyd, and Sauce Gardner in 2 rounds. Whew. Packers add Christian Harris. The Patriots add the fastest corner in the class with Tyreek Woolen. A guy who's rumored who could go in the first now. Drake Jackson slips to 55 for the Cardinals. I like this fit. George Pickens at 58 to the Falcons. As the Falcons continue to have a pretty strong draft, I mean, they've added Kevon Thibodeau right now. They've added Carson Strong, and now they've added George Pickens. Whew. Kenneth Walker goes at 60 to the Bucks. Him and Fournette are a tandem. Sean Ryan can be the potential Laken Tomlinson replacement for the 49ers. Leo Chanel goes to the Bengals as they continue to have a strong draft. Him and Logan Wilson in that backfield. And then Nick Benito as the Broncos make their first pick of this draft. Now, let's head into round 3 of my hand-picked No Simulator mock draft. This is what round 3 looks like. We got Darian Kennard kicked into guard for the Jaguars to kick it off. Troy Anderson goes to the Lions. A center comes off the board. Cameron Jurgens to the Giants. Cole Strange to the Jets as they continue to have a strong draft under me. Fedarian Mathis, a guy who I think could be around at 102. He goes to the Jags. They jump on him early. You keep looking at some other highlights. Abraham Lucas goes to the Colts as they continue to have a strong draft under me. The Broncos take Isaiah Likely. Love it out of Coastal Carolina. The Ravens now take Jalen Tolbert, which is a speedy weapon and crazy, crazy weapon for them to add. David Bell goes to the Browns, helping their receiving core. Channing Tindall off the board as the Texans continue to have a strong draft at 80. They take Channing Tindall. The Falcons take Isaiah Spiller at 82. Daniel Falele comes off the board at 84. Rashad White, one of my man crushes, comes off at 87. The Cowboys, they add to a depleted receiving core with Khalil Shakir at 88. You keep going here. And James Cook goes to the Chiefs at 94. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has not given them what they wanted, and James Cook can catch the ball. He can run the ball. Makes a lot of sense in that offense. You look at a guy like Jelani Woods going to the Saints at 98 would be a secret, real high upside move for those guys. Nick Cross, a player that I know we are super interested in. The Ravens take him at 100. And then the Dolphins' first pick of my mock at 102. I have them taking Luke Fortner, who can be a center or he can be a guard. It's a perfect fit, a guy who can play multiple positions for them. So I think that makes a lot of sense. When you look at it, I think you look at this guy, him and Cam Jurgens, when you get outside of Linderbaum, are probably my 2 favorites. I think Donovan West could fit too. But Luke Fortner, I think he would beat out Michael Dieter in year 1. I really do. So that's who I have us going at 102. So let's keep rolling as we roll on into round 4. So as we head into round 4, some interesting ones here. Tyler Algier added to the Texans at 108. And the Texans also take Charlie Kolar, so they add some weapons for Davis Mills. They help him out. The Ravens take Brian Asamoah at 110. The Jets, they continue their strong draft. They take Terrell Bernard. Huge. The Ravens take Donovan West, who can play tackle, guard, or center. Max Mitchell, who can slot in at right tackle and help them out behind Lucas Niang for the Chiefs. He goes at 121. The Eagles take a backup quarterback to sit back and make sure Jalen Hurts does not mess it up with Bailey Zappi. And then at 125, the Dolphins take Darian Beavers. All right. I think he's a perfect fit at linebacker for us. He's a perfect hybrid, 3-4-4-3 linebacker. He can move in so many different positions. I think Darian Beavers is a fantastic pick. So, if we came away with Luke Fortner and Darian Beavers, I'd be very, very, very excited. Look, I got the Patriots doubling up on their weapons, taking Wan'Dale Robinson. Whoo! They've added Drake London and Wan'Dale Robinson to that core. Yes, it's true. It's true. Pierre Strong to the 49ers it would be crazy. I think it'd be awesome in that offense. And the Bengals continue to have a good draft. Matt Araiza makes a ton of sense. I know Bengals fans want Matt Araiza. Matt Araiza just makes a ton of sense. They don't have a lot of holes. So I got Matt Araiza going at 136. The Steelers taking one of the best names in this draft with Smoke Monday. I have Jalen Weidermeyer going a little bit higher than most would to the Packers because I think Aaron could light it up with him. And then a guy who can, eventually be the fit at right tackle, Kellen Dyche, going at 143 to the Titans. But that is my 4-round hand-selected mock. I know there's going to be stuff you guys agree with. There's going to be stuff you don't agree with. Let me know in the comments below. Ish the Human, Brandon Smith went in the 3rd round. Brandon Smith is already gone. He went before we picked at 102, I believe. So Brandon Smith was already gone in the 3rd, my friend. So I want to rise it too, but hey, I would cut Morstead and get Ariza. So you don't gotta convince me any different. All right, like I agree a whole lot with what y'all are saying. Trust me. Let me see here. A question. Where did if I remember correctly, I don't let me just double check for you. Yeah. Actually, Zach Tom hasn't been selected yet in my mock draft for who I know someone was asking. Zach Tom hasn't been drafted yet in my mock because I have him as a center. So there is my mock draft. 4 rounds, no simulator, hand selected. That was a good bunch of hours worth of work. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I mean, come away with Luke Fortner, Darian Beavers. It just makes it. It would be awesome. It would be awesome. It would be like that's best case scenario. Basically, is we do it. But let's look at some realistic options. Who could be available 102? Who could slip? Who could? Yes, I did consider Pierre Strong over Beavers, but inside linebacker was more of a need. We have a Pierre Strong on the roster right now, and Raheem Mostert. I actually, I believe, if I remember correctly, Arnaldo. Did I have? Yeah, I had D'Angelo Malone going at 130. All right, now let's get into like realistic options that make sense at 102 and 125. Let's start off with 102 guys who I think could fall, guys who could be there, just options. This is a list of you want these guys to pick from, right? So for me, and if they have a star next to their name, ladies and gentlemen, that designates that we've either had a combine meeting, a virtual meeting, a prospect visit, a local visit. That means we've met with the prospect. Okay. So I'm going to give you 20 names at 102 and 125. That would be like best case scenario. So I have Channing Tindall, obviously, Troy Anderson, Brian Asamoah, or Darian Beavers, and Brandon Smith at 102. Now, these guys could also correlate into 125. These are fluid ones. I'm just talking about where. So I've given us 5 linebacker choices of legit options that guys we would like to, and that's not in order. If that was in order, Brian Asamoah would probably be at the bottom of that. So, and then Cole Strange, I think he'll be gone, but I think he's a guy who would make a ton of sense. He's a guard center. Alec Lindstrom, listen, I didn't even have him go in my 4 rounds there, but I had to take in Luke Fortner, but I still think Alec Lindstrom is 110% on the table. Cam Jurgens, Luke Fortner. I got Darian Kennard here, who can be a guard or a tackle. James Cook, Damian Pierce. Those are guys at 102 that could be lingering that might make a little sense if they want to reach. I mean, I think Rachaad White will be gone by then, but if Rachaad White can run around, add him to that list. When you look at edge, because I still think they're looking at it, Josh Pascal out of Kentucky. I know there's a quiet love inside circles for him in the NFL, so he might be gone by then. Sam Williams out of Ole Miss. Miyaji Sanders, who dominated Daniel Falele out of Cincinnati. Zion McCollum, a guy that actually I should have a star next to him. They met with him. Cam Taylor-Britt out of Nebraska, and Kobe Bryant out of Cincinnati. Three corners at it. They're going to go there. Those guys make a lot of sense. Nick Cross, someone who they've already met with. He's a really good player, a really good safety. That's an option that they could be looking at. And then a sneaky sleeper one is if they want depth at defensive tackle, Fedarian Mathis out of Alabama. When I look at these names, these are real. I should call this realistic possibilities, but I do think I see a lot of names on this that are realistically going to be around. When we pick, right? So there's a lot of names on just that list. Just on that list. At 102, a lot of option there's to go through. You look at that, man, if that's a list we're picking from at 102, my God, trade back up. It's just, a lot of good names on that. Like a lot of good names on that. If you had to hold a gun to my head and say pick one of who you'd want on that list, Troy Anderson or Channing Tindall. Troy Anderson or Channing Tindall. If I had to pick one. Then I gave y'all 2. And then when you look at, options that could be available at 125, this is kind of what it seems like we're looking at a little bit. Pierre Strong, I have him there. Jerome Ford, Zamir White, Tyler Batty out of Missouri, who a lot of people are sleeping on. I think Tyquan Thornton, I think they're really interested in him. Zach Tom, center guard. Donovan West, Darian Kendrick, who they brought in, corner out of Georgia. Mikel Wright, cornerback out of Oregon who's a slot fit, right? You can grow him in the slot. That could step in for Justin Coleman right there. Kellen Dyche, right tackle fit, Arizona State. Max Mitchell, Louisiana Lafayette, playing right tackle next to maybe potentially his boy Robert Hunt. Love the fit. My OT10 as well. JoJo Demand, linebacker out of Nebraska. Terrell Bernard and Mike Rose, all linebackers out of Baylor, Iowa State, and like I said, Nebraska. Some edges that I think are going to be really in play. Tyreek Smith, Dominic Robinson, the edge out of Miami, out of Ohio, and Alex Wright and D'Angelo Malone, I think are realistic. Those three edges, Dominic Robinson, Alex Wright, D'Angelo Malone, I think are realistic options if you get at 125. JT Wood, safety out of Baylor, who they've already interviewed. And then Ron McKinley, the third safety out of Oregon. Again, a lot of good names on this list, right? And again, some of these names might not even make it to these lists. All right. These are just guys that I'm showing you that these two lists, if you look back at them and we're picking from multiple names, like more than a handful of names from these lists, we're in a good position. We are in a good position. So that's when I look at 102, when I look at 125, I keep coming away with there are going to be names on the board where if we make the right picks, if our scouting department does the right job, we could come away with some starters. Right? Like, a guy that I've talked about taking at 224 if we don't go running back is Sincere McCormick. One of my man crushes out of the running back class, out of UTSA. You know what I mean? That's a perfect guy we need for third down when I look at it. You know what I mean? So if you were to come away like Luke Fortner, if you're coming back with a linebacker, one of those top linebackers, a center, and then Sincere McCormick and add whoever you add at 247, my God, what a win. I think Jared Dokes is done. I don't think Jared Dokes fits what we're going to want to do. I think they'll keep him on the practice squad. But if someone else comes available that they think they can slot in there instead, it makes a ton of sense. But, man, I'm praying Tyndall or Troy Anderson fall to 102. Because if you can get one of those guys and then turn around and you can go take a center, like if Fortner's there, if they want to take Alec Lindstrom, he's there. If Juergens somehow falls there, which I doubt, or if Donovan West falls there, and then you go and you add Sincere McCormick, man, that's a win. That is something to be happy about. So, and what's crazy too is, we're gonna see early on what this coaching staff's draft philosophy is. Like, that's what sucks. It doesn't. See, I'm not looking at it as like we don't have a first and second round pick, so it sucks that that talent. I'm looking at it as I want to see how they draft. You know what I mean? I want to get a read on this scouting department and this front office under Mike McDaniel. Right? That's what I'm looking for. I want to get an understanding of how they view prospects and how they draft. So, we're getting such a small sample size, So it's gonna be very interesting. That's why Nick, see, that's the problem with running mocks. If you get if Leo Chanel is at 102, run the damn card out. I think he's long gone. I think Leo's long gone. I think Mumba's long gone. I really do. So, and then interesting story today for all of us with draft memories. Laremy Tunsil. This guy kills me, I swear to God. Laremy Tunsil is closing the book on his draft experience once and for all, but doing it for a worthwhile cause. Tunsil has minted the infamous video that caused his tumble to 13th overall in a 101 NFT with a portion of the proceeds slated to benefit the Last Prisoner Project, a nonprofit dedicated to repairing the harms of the criminalization of cannabis through intervention, advocacy, and awareness. So the infamous video shows Tunsil smoking marijuana with a gas mask bong, and has actually played a big role in recent Dolphins history and been continuing to do so for a while. While it's too simplistic to say it was a direct result because there were many other picks involved, but the Tunsil trade paved the way for the Dolphins to eventually land Jalen Waddle, Javon Holland, and Tyreek Hill, along with Solomon Kinley and Noah Benogany. Man, I wish they got Noah Benogany right. Can't get them all, bro. And none of that would have happened had it not been for the bong video, because there's no way Tunsil would have slid to 13th without said video surfacing that night. Some teams clearly crossed Tunsil off their board after the video surfaced, and the Dolphins were more than happy to jump on the opportunity to snag him, saying they had done their homework on him. And the Dolphins were proven right in this particular case because Tunsil has not had any disciplinary or off the field issues since entering the NFL. So this is how it actually affected us. In 2019, Tunsil steals a 2020 fourth and a 2021 sixth to Houston for Julian Davenport, Johnson Batamosi, a 2020 first, which became 26th overall, a 2021 first, which became third overall, and a 2021 second round pick, 36th overall. Right? So the only pick that the Dolphins got that was used in its spot was a 2021 second round, which became Javon Holland. 2020, they traded the 26th overall pick to the Green Bay Packers for the 30th pick in the fourth round selection. And they took Igbenogany with 30th overall pick, and they coupled the fourth with another fourth to recoup the fourth sent to Houston in 2019, and they took Solomon Kinley. In 2021, the Dolphins took that third overall pick and sent it to San Francisco for their 12th pick, 2022 first and third round picks, and a 2023 first round selection. The Dolphins, of course, then traded the 12th pick along with their own 2022 first round pick to the Eagles for the sixth pick and then selected Waddle. The Dolphins used the 2022 first round pick they got from San Francisco, along with the picks in the second and fourth this year, and in the fourth and sixth rounds next year to get Hill from Kansas City. So Laremy Tunsil is the gift that keeps on giving. The fact that he's actually turning that video into an NFT is absolutely classic. I mean, what else can you say? That's absolutely hilarious. Shout out to Laremy Tunsil. And, not only does that moment keep giving back to us, but it's a beautiful thing that it's giving back, to a charitable organization that could use the funds. So he is just shout out to Sean Tunsil, wherever you are right now, the cousin of Laremy, one of the avid, watchers of this channel, been down since day one. Shout out to him and his cousin for doing some amazing things, man. That's awesome stuff. Really, it is. Really, really, it is. And you got to give props for Laremy Tunsil for making, chicken salad out of chicken, whatever. And look at us. Look at what we turned that pick into. Unbelievable stuff, what we've turned that into. I mean, everyone wanted to fire Greer when, he was being conservative and spending money wisely early on and, in free agency, but the man has moved very well the past couple of years. There's absolutely no denying that. Appreciate you, Kenny. So, yeah, Scotty says someone get Chanel to hit a bong ASAP. I agree. You want to give Devin Lloyd and someone give Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean some yayo too, so they can fall. I don't know what's going on here, bro. Where's Chris Forrester at? Hey, someone hit up Gase and Forrester's dealer and get some of these picks to fall to us, man. I don't care. Make it happen. Let's go. So, I agree with what Williams says. It does seem like when Greer trades up, he is reaching sometimes. I agree with that assessment, my friend. All right. Now let's get into the pressers for today. Let's start off with Jalen Phillips. He said some interesting things today we'll go over. So, Jalen Phillips, when he needs fuel or a boost, he doesn't need to look far. Simply peering at the three letters taped on his wrist, JWM does a trick. Just watch me, he said. That evokes an emotional response. I have everything to prove to myself and haters. Screw the doubters, screw the haters. Attaboy, Jalen. How can anyone hate on you? You're a freaking stud, brother. Anyone who hates on you, let me know. I'll handle them. From a distance, Phillips seemingly began his first Dolphins training camp last July in a good place. He signed a 4-year, $14 million deal, had a rare opportunity to begin his NFL career in the city where he played college football and at the University of Miami. Beneath the surface, everything wasn't perfect, he admitted this week, both in a podcast and in a session with reporters on Wednesday. At the beginning of the year, I was letting pressure of coaches and players get to me. I couldn't deal with the roller coaster. You can easily feel when you're a liability or an asset. At the beginning of the season, I was feeling everyone keeps saying Jalen keeps messing up. I felt I never earned that respect. I was hurt for a few weeks in training camp. I wanted coaches and teammates to respect me. When I started performing in games, that's where I really felt the love and respect my teammates. By midseason, Phillips began talking with a confidence coach, Ben Newman, who brought to his attention by a Dolphins official. Man, our staff in year one, you got a stud like this, and y'all are having him. My God, Brian Flores. The indictments continue. The indictments of your coaching continue. This isn't just a Tua confidence thing. Now Jalen Phillips is having confidence problems under you. Come on, man. You got to be better than that. Unreal, man. Listen, there is a way to get what you want and be hard on players without killing their confidence. This guy, unbelievable. He did a lot of work with Alabama. What he told me was that positive self-talk. It's easy to get in your head about things and get trapped in a negative cycle. Talk to yourself positively. Everyone has intrusive thoughts, but you aren't your thoughts. I still talk to Ben every day, texting me positive messages, positive affirmations. Like, as an NFL rookie, he realized there's pressure. Like, good for Jalen Phillips for getting on it and doing something that happened. Should have never been put in that position, though. As an NFL rookie, he realized there's pressure from coaches, teammates, friends, everyone. I had to manage my level of expectations. I can't control how people are going to feel about my performance. The key, he said, is not being too high, not being too low. That was the biggest learning lesson to me. By any statistical measure, Phillips had a strong rookie season. His 8.5 sacks tied for 28th in the league, but PFF rated him just 102nd as a run defender, and he will need to improve in that area to be an every down player. He played 54% of Miami's defensive snaps last season. Proving that he can play every down is a mindset thing, he said. I'm taking pride, and that's a chip on my shoulder. People said I couldn't play early downs. Just watch me. Every single snap, it's me and the player I'm against. Who's going to win? It's not going to be him. Bro, you had a better rookie season than Chase Young. He is better than Chase Young. He's going to be better than Chase Young was in year 2, too. Jalen Phillips, I said it when we drafted him. I said it in my draft prospect profile when you go back. He is the third Bosa brother. He is a combination of Nick and Joey. When you look at his performance-wise and his athletic profile, that's what he is. He's going to be a stud. Phillips said, it's clear you can't play scared or tentative or then you will slow down. I'm trying to be sharp and on point with preparation, so therefore I can play fast and come into my own. I'm really critical of myself, have high aspirations. I'm trying to be the most well-rounded player. Phillips, who remains an outside linebacker, has lost 5 pounds. I'm a lean, mean machine, he cracked. Mentally, he's in a very good place. I don't know if I expected to get drafted here, but I'm ecstatic. It's storybook. Couldn't have written it up better. Phillips addressed other issues on the podcast in his Wednesday news conference. On Mike McDaniel, he brings the aura of energy and youth about him. He's serious about his craft, super intellectual guy. It's important to relate to your coach at a personal level. In the few conversations with him, he's asked about my family. I like the energy and ideas he has and his passion. How much will the defense be similar to 2021? He said he didn't want to give anything away, but it's Coach Josh Boyer's defense. I'm competing against Terron Armstead. Iron sharpens iron, to pick his brain, and a guy that clearly has established himself, right? Robert Hunt spoke today, and he said the Dolphins are studying 49ers tape to learn Mike McDaniel's offensive blocking scheme. He said Dolphins have good teachers in Mike McDaniel, new offensive line coach Matt Applebaum, and new coordinator Frank Smith. Athleticism is an important quality for linemen in the Dolphins' new zone scheme. I'm pretty athletic. I can do any scheme. Damn right. You're going to be an all-pro, brother. It's Eichenberg that needs to be worried right now. Eichenberg is the one that needs to be worried, not you. So, That's just what it is. All right. Now, Jalen Phillips made himself available today. Guess who else did? Jalen Waddle made himself available today, and yes, Eichenberg was a reach. I agree, Duke. And he talked about Cheetah. So let's hear what Jalen Waddle had to say. He stands to take his game to the next level. Shout out to the homie David Fronas for writing this and Barry Jackson for writing the last. David Fronas been on the channel, friend of the channel, good guy. Much of the offseason commotion surrounding Jalen Waddle, now having top NFL speedster Tyreek Hill in the same receiving corps, has been about the impending race between the two that Hill hyped up in his initial press conference as a Miami Dolphin. That race is still yet to occur. Waddle, speaking at a team facilities on Wednesday, quipped it will take place when media members participate in their own race. But far more important than one or the other establishing who is indeed the fastest receiver on the team, Waddle stands to benefit from Hill's presence and learn from this 6-time Pro Bowl selection so he can take the next step in his game heading into his second NFL season. Waddle said he had film sessions with Hill and the rest of the team's receiving corps during the 3+ weeks in the offseason workout program that has been instrumental for him as he looks to expand on his NFL rookie receptions record of 104 set in 2021 to go along with his 1,015 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. We watch tape every day, said Waddle. Honestly, the whole group goes out there, pinpoints what everyone's doing well and how we can learn from each other. Waddle doesn't have to watch Hill-specific film too often. There's something he has already done, plenty to pick up on things Hill has done over his stellar career with the Kansas City Chiefs before the Dolphins traded 5 draft picks, including a first and second rounder in this week's draft to acquire him. I watched enough Tyreek before we got here, Waddle said, adding that in their sessions, Hill will explain certain techniques he uses to manipulate cornerbacks and coverage to get open. One of emphasis for Waddle and the whole receiving unit across the board heading into 2022 is yards after the catch. Quarterback Tagovailoa said last week the Dolphins want to yak the heck out of teams. Waddle and Hill both ranked in the top 20 in the NFL last season in terms of yards after catch. Hill was 17th at 440. Waddle was 19th at 439. But those numbers don't appear as strong when one looks at how many receptions it took for each to reach those numbers. Both with triple-digit catches on the season and yards after catch per reception, Waddle and Hill ranked 104th and 109 respectively. Again, Waddle had no one around him, like Ja'Marr Chase did, to keep the defense honest. And Hill, let's be honest, McCall Hardman, DeMar Robinson, they're not scaring anyone. They're not good route runners with good, dependable hands. They're just speed guys. Now, Cedric Wilson, Lynn Bowden, Mike Gesicki as a receiver, Tyreek, Waddle, way more options, way more things that can be done. And guys are going to find themselves in space and on one-on-one matchups a lot more, which will create a lot more yards after the catch. I go back and look at all the film last year, try to improve my game, not just in yak, but in different areas, said Waddle. Knowledge of the game, identifying defenses faster, things like that. When you go back and look at it, when you self-evaluate, that's pretty much what I've been doing all offseason. Hill, Waddle, a new free agent acquisition, and Cedric Wilson are all capable of playing in the slot. Wilson played the most last season with the Dallas Cowboys, but he's also the tallest of the bunch at 6'2". Something Tagovailoa said last week surprised him when he had met him. The trio, along with tight end Mike Gesicki, who lined up in abundance in the slot last season, figured to rotate between that alignment and playing on the boundary. Waddle said receivers are still in the early stages of learning Mike McDaniel's offense before they start figuring out how often pass rushers will line up in different spots. We're still in a learning process. We're still trying to get formations and the basics of the offense down. It's different schemes, different offense, how we line up, where we line up. Split's going to be important. Just knowing the ins and outs of the offense is going to be important. With the unit versatile and how it can line up, it could figure to create confusion for defenses, which is what I've been telling you. And the yards after catch can come more often easily as space opens up for the vertical threats that Hill and Waddle present. Listen, that's what I've been saying. If you look at what we're doing what we're taking the Shanahan offense, we're adding a speed and vertical element we've never seen in that offense. Right? It's a blend of the Shanahan offense can get to the Super Bowl, and speed and vertical threats are what's working in the AFC right now, a la the Bengals and the Chiefs. We all know Cheetah is fast, said Waddle of Hill, who has been clocked as hitting the fastest in-game speed in the NFL. I'm known for being a speed guy. I think it's something that's going to be helpful to open up different things in the offense. Just knowing they have to respect that vertical threat. As for that race, to really determine who's faster, you just can't race a Cheetah straight up. You got to sneak up on him, Waddle said. Man, when that video comes out, we are going to be breaking the hell down. I want Moser running with them too. All right. We need Moser running with them. We need Moser running with them. And I know they're really interested in a guy like Tareek Woolen. Imagine if Tareek Woolen gets drafted by them at like 125 or something like that. That would be real. That'd be hilarious. By the way, I do wanted to say to you, my friend, hold on a sec here. Let me bring it up. I had a donation yesterday that I forgot to read off because I didn't see it till after I was done. So I do want to read it off. Got to show love when people show me that kind of love, right? Let me pull it up here. All right. So I had a donation yesterday from Topher for $24. Topher, I appreciate you, man. Always helping me out. Always, always holding this channel down. Always showing love. Appreciate you, Topher. You're the absolute man. Guys, it's been a crazy past 3 days trying to hammer this stuff out, get it in time before the draft tomorrow. Listen, I'm going to be live tomorrow around 7:30. We're going to be live for all night 1. Night 2, Ball Game will be joining me. Richmond Webb is trying to make his schedule work so he can join me. And I'm going to be shouting. I hit him up today, and I forgot to call him back, but I'm looking to get the homie Martin to come back for y'all. Have him up here, have a nice little panel for you on Saturday. Then on Sunday, we're going to open it up to you guys a little bit more. And I'm going to be going on the Big O show from about 2:30 to 3 o'clock. And if I'm still live, I'll have a co-host hold that up for me while I'm gone. But man, we got a lot of content. We're about to be live for the next 3 days on Finside the NFL. Man, the draft is a specialty. It's my favorite time of the year, even though we don't have a lot of picks. That kind of sucks. But, like I said earlier, we're going to find out what this coaching staff, what the scouting department is really, really made of. We are gonna find out, because you got 4 picks. Make the most of them. I hope Linderbaum falls to the second as well. I agree with you guys. Move up. The thing is, I want to let you guys know, if you were to take the 102nd, 125th, the 224th, and the 247th pick, that's only enough capital to move up from 102 to 90. So if we were to move up to like 60 for Linderbaum, you would need to include like all those picks in the second next year. Now we got 5 picks in the first 3 rounds next year, so it's doable. But I just want to let y'all know, if you were to combine all 4 picks right now and package them to move up, the highest you can move up to is 90. I appreciate you, Corey. Thank you very much, man. Corey says, "Reason with all due respect, you are by far the best Miami Dolphins YouTuber. So glad I came across the channel." I appreciate you, homie, man. All I do is I work my ass off because you guys deserve it. That's all I do, man. I try to give you guys the best, most in-depth, most informative content possible, whether it's prospect, film work, whatever the case may be. I just try to be the best I can be possible for you guys, period, because you guys deserve nothing less than the best. And I feel by giving you guys and sharing as much information as I have and try to share with all you guys, I just want us to be the smartest fan base in the NFL. And I know it's impossible when you look across YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, especially Twitter sometimes. It's impossible. But hey, a man can dream, can he? I have a dream. So I appreciate the kind words, man. So let's get it. I'm going to be back tomorrow night, 7:30. I appreciate each and every one of you coming through. Man, I want to see y'all night 1, night 2. Night 2, definitely I want to see y'all come through. Night 1, come through. Day 3, let's do it. But day 2, day 3 are the big days for us. I'll be live 7:30 tomorrow night, 7:30 on Friday, and then I'll be starting about just at the time that day 3 starts. I'll be starting around then. So, guys, you already know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. I didn't expect a big group. I had over 300 people in the room here at, almost midnight. So, and I didn't even open up the room hours ahead to give you guys a heads up. Appreciate all you, man. Appreciate each and every one of you. I love all of you, man. Just, who am I with COVID to say this, but stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. I will see each and every one of you tomorrow night. It's draft season, baby. Let's get it. It's here. Let's get it. All right. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Fins.